You're ready for some Saturday Night Live, but what's the deal? Is it new? Is it a rerun?
Right? Well,
Find out.
let's consult our source here. NBC Insider. They've got all the info. Scoop.
And sadly, looks like it's a rerun tonight, but that's okay because we can still
It's all good.
have a good time, digging into what's going on with this episode.
That's right. We can deep dive into this rerun.
Exactly.
Okay, so what is it? What are we watching?
So it's a rerun of Emma Stone's 5th time hosting.
Fifth.
Yeah, from December 2nd, 2023.
Wait, 5th time hosting.
Yeah.
That's got to mean something like,
Yeah.
is that a record or?
Not a record exactly,
Yeah.
but it does mean she's part of a very exclusive club, the Five Timers Club.
Okay, now we're talking Five Timers Club. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Tell me everything.
it's for the elite, SNL hosts who have really just become part of the show's history.
And so Emma Stone is a five-timer, and this episode that we're watching tonight is actually when she was inducted into the club.
What?
Yeah.
So we get to see that whole thing.
The whole thing. And she is actually the youngest person to ever become a five-timer.
Wow.
And Tina Fey and Candice Bergen were there to give her the ceremonial velvet jacket.
The jacket, I've heard about this jacket. Did she keep it or something? She wasn't supposed to?
That's right, yeah. She snuck it off the set. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a piece of history.
Yeah, you can't blame her. A piece of SNL history.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of connections, didn't her husband also work on the show?
Yes, he did. Dave McCaffrey.
Dave McCaffrey.
He was a segment director and writer.
So cool. I love that. Like a little power couple situation over there at SNL.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be a part of such an iconic show,
Really is.
it's pretty cool.
So was he working on this episode though? The one that is airing tonight?
He wasn't the director for this specific episode, but he did direct a sketch later on in the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the Ryan Gosling episode, he did the Papyrus 2 sketch.
Wow, what a small world. Like everyone's connected.
You know.
That's so funny. Okay, so we got the Five Timers thing, we got the husband connection. What about the music? Who's the musical guest?
Yeah, so this episode was Noah Kahan's SNL debut.
Noah Kahan.
Yeah.
Okay, that name sounds familiar. Remind me what kind of music he does.
Yeah, he's got this really raw, introspective kind of songwriting style that really kind of blew up in the 2020s.
Okay.
Kind of like folk pop with a little bit of an indie edge.
Gotcha.
And he performed Dial Drunk and the title track from his album Stick Season.
So this was a big deal for him then, this SNL appearance.
Huge. It was a huge platform for him to get his music out there.
Yeah, totally. And while we're talking about huge SNL moments, we got to talk about recent SNL history.
Yeah.
Because we just had that huge 50th anniversary special.
I know.
And there were a couple new episodes after that, right?
Yes. So after all the celebrating for season 50, they got back to business.
Okay.
And first up was Shane Gillis hosting on March 1st.
Wait a minute, his second time hosting already?
Mm-hmm.
He was just on a year ago.
That's right.
Someone was popular.
Yeah, he's killing it. And then the next week, on March 8th, Lady Gaga hosted.
Lady Gaga, stop. I love her.
Yeah.
She's always so extra, so good. Was she just hosting or was she doing double duty?
She did both. She was hosting and she was the musical guest.
I love it.
And she performed Abracadabra from her new album, Mayhem.
Oh my gosh.
It was magical.
I bet. So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard whispers about this Lady Gaga episode. Something about March Mayhem? Did they call it that?
The article mentioned that, yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to watch this one.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a whole deep dive on Lady Gaga and SNL sometime.
I'm in.
All right.
That sounds like fun.
Deal. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued.
It's kind of crazy to think about all these recent episodes, especially the 50th anniversary and how SNL has changed so much over the years.
Oh yeah, totally. How has it stayed so relevant for so long? It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thinking about all that, who do you think is going to be the next person in the Five Timers Club?
Ooh, that's a good question. There are definitely a few people out there who could do it. What about John Mulaney?
John Mulaney.
Mhm.
He's already hosted 4 times, right?
Yeah, he's a fan favorite for sure.
Yeah, he is so funny.
Yeah.
I love his whole awkward vibe. But I don't know, does he have that Five Timers energy?
That's true. He does have a very specific style.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like Bill Hader would be a better fit. He's also hosted 4 times.
Oh yeah.
And all his characters are iconic.
Oh, Bill Hader. I love him. He's so versatile. He can do comedy, he can do drama impressions, everything. But I feel like he's kind of done with SNL now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so maybe we need to think a little differently. Who about, like, Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza. Ooh, now that's an interesting one.
Right.
She's got that, like, deadpan thing going on.
Yeah.
You never know what she's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And she's such a good actress. Like, she could handle any sketch they threw at her.
Yeah, and she's, like, everywhere these days, all these movies and TV shows. She's having a moment, for sure. Okay, she's at the top of my list now. Who else you got?
All right, well, we can't forget about Lady Gaga. She's already hosted twice.
True.
And she always brings, like, the unexpected.
She is a force of nature, that's for sure.
Oh.
But I think she needs a few more times hosting before she makes it to the five-timers.
Yeah, that's fair. It usually takes a few years between hosting gigs for those who make it to the club.
Yeah, like they got to prove they can stick around and they really get the show.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about being funny or famous. It's like being part of the SNL family.
Oh. And it's so cool when you see those familiar faces back on the show. It's like they're coming home.
It is. It's like a reminder of all the history of the show and how it brings people together. You know, even when it's a rerun, like tonight.
Oh, that's right. So is there anything in this Emma Stone episode that makes it worth watching even though it's a repeat?
Well, besides her joining the Five Timers Club, we have her husband who directed a sketch that season. And we haven't even talked about Noah Kahan's debut as a musical guest.
You're right. His performance is a good example of how SNL helps new artists get noticed.
Yeah, for sure. Like, think about all the amazing musicians who've been on that stage. It's like a whole history of music.
Yeah, it really is. It's like you haven't made it until you've performed on SNL.
Yeah, totally.
You know, this whole conversation about the Five Timers Club has got me thinking about how important SNL is to our culture. It's more than just a comedy show.
I know, right? It's like a snapshot of what's happening in the world, all the pop culture and the politics and everything.
Yeah, so even though it's a repeat tonight, there's still a lot to like about this Emma Stone episode. I mean, she gets inducted into the Five Timers Club.
Yeah, that's true. Not many hosts get that honor, you know?
Right, and it's always fun to see how a host changes over time, you know, when they host multiple times.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you can really see them get more comfortable up there and their jokes get even better.
Yeah, totally. So for those of you watching at home tonight, pay attention to those little things in Emma Stone's performance. It's her 5th time, so she's probably going to be amazing.
And don't forget about Noah Kahan's music. It's cool to look back on his early stuff and see how much he's grown since then.
That's right. Good point. Okay, so this whole five-timers thing has got me thinking, like, what does it actually take to be that successful on SNL?
That's a good question. I think it's a bunch of things. You got to be funny, obviously.
Yeah.
But you also need that charisma. You know, you got to connect with the audience.
And you probably got to be willing to try new things and maybe even get a little crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The best SNL hosts are the ones who aren't afraid to be a little weird and unpredictable.
Yeah, that's what keeps the show fresh after all these years.
Right. It's all about the surprises. And it also helps if you get along with everyone on the show, you know?
Oh, yeah.
SNL is a very collaborative environment. Like, everyone works together.
So the hosts who do well are the ones who can be part of the team.
Exactly. It's like a family. And tonight we get to see one of those family reunions, even if it's a rerun.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so Deep Divers, even though there's no new SNL tonight, we had a blast talking about some classic moments and figuring out what makes a five-timer and who might be next.
It just shows that there's always something new to learn about SNL.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, until next time, keep laughing and don't forget to record next week's new episode.
And remember, live from New York, it's sometimes rerun.